this is episode 2 of Liberty Racing Review. Some of you tuning in might have noticed that in the title, we got a guest coming on today, Judson O'Neil from Judson's Racing Network. Having some technical issues. He should be joining here shortly. Um, so hold on tight. He should be here in a few minutes. But in the meantime, first off, how y'all doing? Steve, JP? I think y'all are
Well,
still muted.
Steve's muted. I'm going to introduce
there we go.
myself. What's up, guys? I'm JP. Welcome to Hot Laps for Liberty.
I'm Steve, by the way. Well, I'm doing good. Very tired. Been a long weekend.
First thing we got to talk about is because one of our partners, we try to talk about this at the start of every show. Midwest Sim Racing, a race recap. They just had the Big Rig GP in Forza Motorsport 7. So what the race was, it was the Mercedes semi-trucks racing at Watkins Glen for 25 laps with some heat races beforehand. Race was a caution fest. I mean, I think we had one pretty long green flag run towards the middle of the race, and then after that, it was caution after caution after caution. I won, and if you want more information on that article, we posted to our website shortly. So now I think he's joined us. So can you hear us, Judson? Uh-oh.
Oh no, same issue from earlier.
It's frozen up too.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. Hold up. Technical difficulties again.
I need to make a new technical difficulties screen.
Yeah, we kind of need that graphic.
I'll probably do that after the show.
I'm not sure what's going on, if it's something on our end or what. This is new software to us, so it's still a bit of a learning curve, and I don't know if there's something we need to be doing or what, but he should. I don't know. Screen's frozen up.
I will say that this is a better program than what we were using.
It's better than StreamYard, yes.
Way better.
Can you hear us, Judson? He says he sees and hears us, but I can't hear him. So it's the opposite of what it was doing earlier when he joined on the phone.
All right.
He's not muted. Just bear with us through these technical difficulties real quick. It's not muted. I don't know what's going on, dude.
Well, in the downtime, JP, did you do anything fun this weekend?
I did not. I took this weekend off. For the past 3 weeks, I went to North Wilkesboro to watch the All-Star race, which was a blast. And then that next weekend, I went to the Indy 500, which also was a very, very good time.
Yeah.
I think y'all saw from the videos. I did an interview with Dana Beers from Barstool, which we have posted. And that's pretty much all the work I got done. We were so busy out there. It was a very entertaining race. It's just Roger Penske did a lot of work to that facility, and anywhere you go is spotless. Those bathrooms make it you feel like you're in a nice restaurant almost. Everything's nice stainless steel. Everything's well taken care of, nice and clean. Even the dirt track in the infield's magnificent. It puts a lot of local places to shame. It's a wonderful facility.
Now, speaking of restaurants, didn't you dine with somebody very important in motorsports?
Yeah. So we were at my group. We went to St. Elmo in downtown Indianapolis, which I don't know if y'all have heard of it. It's an extremely nice steakhouse. And they put us in the Holman suite because I guess of our group size. And Tony Holman was the original owner of the track. And so while we're in there, the waitress tells us that the person in the right of our group is the owner of the restaurant. And then a minute later, I see Mario Andretti go into the bathroom, and he was in the group to the left of us. So it was a very eventful night on Friday.
That's pretty cool. I don't think I've ever got to eating with anybody famous. Reed, did you do anything fun this weekend?
Uh, did I do anything fun?
Yeah.
I mean, I raced with Midwest for their thing, but besides that, uh, nothing much. Um, Still trying to figure out what's going on with Judson. I am not sure if it's something on our end or something on his or what. This software is still new to us, so still trying to figure out what else going on with it. Yeah, sorry for the hiccups. It's gonna be a bumpy ride at first with this new software, but
And Judson is our first guest, so again, like
yeah,
we
this is the
said,
first time we've tried having a guest
yeah,
on.
we ran through a couple stream situations, but this didn't happen to us. So this is all foreign.
I have one other idea. I'm gonna try. Um, I have one more idea that might work.
Well, for me this weekend, I kind of ventured off into the great unknown to me. I went down to the Gulf for the first time. Uh, went to Floribama, which that's another topic. If anybody's ever been there, you know what I'm talking about. I actually did stop at a couple locations along the way. I stopped at a little racetrack that's actually been closed down for a while now. I believe it's pronounced Flomaton. Is that right, Reed?
Yeah, Flomaton.
Flomaton Raceway, and I believe that's Flomaton, Florida. I stopped by, tried to get a good look at the track. It's been abandoned, I believe, since 2002, 2003 was the last time anybody raced on that track. The signs are still up. There's a tree that's blocking everything, so you really can't get in there to see anything. I did stop by at Five Flags. Five Flags looks like Five Flags. Hasn't changed since the last time we were there that I could see, unless they've added new things. There's all new banners along the backstretch. I saw that much. Um, I didn't realize how small their parking lot actually is. I thought it was way bigger because when we went for the snowball, it was outrageous with parking. They had people parking miles away and walking.
Oh
I
yeah.
thought the parking lot was massive. It's actually tiny for that track. And
Yeah, I need to make a trip down there to the Snowball Derby this year.
yeah, we plan on, well, me and Reed plan on making it. And I think, JP, if you coming along, that'd be awesome.
I will.
Yeah, and by the way, Flomaton is on the Alabama side of the state line.
Oh, okay. My bad.
Yeah.
I thought it was Florida.
Yeah, you got Century, and then you cross the state line into Flomaton, and that's Alabama.
Okay.
Um,
Well, Flomaton, never stop at that McDonald's. Shout
yeah,
out to Flomaton McDonald's that took
or
an,
just
an hour and five
or just
minutes.
never stop in Flomaton. That's
That
another
too. It
solution.
took an hour and 5 minutes to get a caramel frappe in the drive-through.
That's on you for ordering the Mac Cafe menu.
Bro, it wasn't just me either. So there was people in front of us that had been waiting longer just for their food, even though they were not busy at all. I don't know what that crew was doing, or if they even had a crew. But it was bad.
I think one thing we probably ought to do in the meantime, while Judson, I sent him a different kind of link to see if that would do anything. Um, let's our shortest segment as far as topics to talk about is our dirt segment, dirt track and drama. So, well, actually, never mind. Back, let me place speaker. Hey, can you hear us now? Hmm, don't sound like it.
Ah, there we
Yep.
go.
I think I can hear you. It's a bit choppy, but I could hear you for a second.
You
Hmm.
got me?
Yeah, we can hear you, but you're choppy.
Yeah, it's cutting out pretty bad. I don't know. You do have,
Can y'all
looking
hear
at the
me?
bottom of the
I'm
screen,
here.
you have like a little Wi-Fi signal. You only
Okay.
have, looks like one bar. So, I don't know. This, I hate this isn't working out. Yeah, I just got another notification. It says Judson's camera probably has a low FPS. And now that Wi-Fi symbol is just gone. I don't know what's going on. This is this is something completely new that's never happened to us before with this software. So
Again, guys, we apologize for the technical
yeah,
difficulties. Usually we're on top of our game here, but every once in a while we have a little hiccup.
yeah, we'll have to try it out. We'll have to invite somebody else to be a guest at some point and see if it's like something that if somebody else joins, if it's the same thing, see if it's on our end or what.
Yeah, Max Verstappen, if you're out there, we're free. We'd
Yeah.
love to interview you.
If Ross Chastain wants to test out our streaming software, by all means, come join us.
If I could get Chandler Smith and Jed Burton on the show at one time and let them duke it out on here, I would love that.
The new segment called The Boxing Ring.
I do think, though,
Bring drivers on with
for a
disagreements.
matter
let them
of
scream
moving
at
the
each
show
other.
along, in the meantime, let's go ahead and go through with our dirt track and drama segment. So this is dirt track and drama. Really, the only stuff we have on the menu to talk about is some of World of Outlaws late model action from this past weekend. So I can't remember the guy's name that won on Friday night. Forgive me for not having all my information. Give me just 2 seconds here. But there was a race Friday night at Tri-City Speedway, and then a race Saturday night at Paducah, I think it's how you pronounce it. Kyle Bronson, that's who it is. Kyle Bronson won Friday night at Tri-City. He beat Brian Shirley to the line by .059 seconds. And then they turn around, they go to Paducah on Saturday, and Brian Shirley comes out and guy finally gets the win for once. It's the fourth time he's won that race, the USA World 50. I think that's what it is. The USA World some number. But fourth time he's won that race, seventh World of Outlaws career win. And that's pretty much the rundown from it. Unless you'll have any other dirt stuff to talk about, that was all I had.
So I'll let you go first, Steve.
I am actually going to be attending another dirt race this weekend at North Georgia Speedway in Rome. Or I'm sorry, is it Rome or Chatsworth this weekend? Hold on, I've got to double check my schedule. It is Chatsworth, so it is North Georgia Raceway. Again, it's an older track. A lot of decent racing is going on at that track. They just had a large event. The purse was like 103,000 to win. It was something ridiculous. I think it was it was some national touring race. I think it was the championship finale. They decided to hold it there. They like to switch out different divisions and stuff. And so we should see what the local dirt track scene is doing this weekend. Going to catch up with some local drivers, maybe get a couple interviews while we're there.
I believe Talladega Short Track has racing this weekend too.
They do. They have their Dirt Car USA series there, and I watched the high limit race last week in St. Louis, and Kyle Larson qualified second. That I can remember. The guy on the pole didn't want to take the dice roll and get the money, so made me think. Imagine if Formula One had that, where Max Verstappen, you roll the dice, you roll an 11, you start 11th, and you get 11 extra points, and you have to see him come back.
Maybe where
Our man Casey Clark's over here in the chat.
local dirt track scene.
Man, Casey, you gotta send us some kind of schedule. I mean, I'd love to come see your race, get some content, whatever.
Casey, if you're in North Georgia, let us know. I will definitely
Casey
be
Clark's
there.
one of our local modified guys, or open wheel. I'm not sure technically what you'd call it, but open wheel dirt racing. So
He likes to
besides
turn left on dirt.
Talladega's this
Also-
weekend, and
Caden Molinax finished 5th in the Spring National Series. He's good friends of ours at Molinax Racing.
I saw that. Give me 2 seconds here. I'm gonna text Judson back real quick.
No, JP, we lost you on the feed.
He had to go get his laptop charger.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear that or see that in the group chat. But yeah, Casey, if you're doing anything in North Georgia, please let us know. I'll try my best to attend that. We've been rather busy, kind of going all over the world the past couple of weeks between Reed going to Montgomery and me doing local tracks like Atlanta Motorsports Park and JP literally going all over the world, being at Indy one weekend and then North Wilkesboro the next and Talladega Short Track the
Well,
next.
I don't think Judson's going to be able to make it tonight. Technical difficulties probably going to be plaguing us all night if we kept trying. Let's see. What's Casey got to say here? Fort Payne every week. Sudar USA mods. Going to be at Sonoya in a few weeks. Thinking about going to Sugar Creek and Blue Ridge.
Hey, you come to Sugar Creek, I'll be there. That's one of my favorite tracks.
I want to go to Sonoya.
Sonoya is
one
also a
track.
fun track.
That's
Yeah,
a
you can
bucket list track
comment
for
on
me.
trip
So
to
Casey,
Georgia.
if you can message me the date for Sonoya, I will try my damnedest to be there. I say moving on with the dirt segment, trying to get this closed up. So we have driver of the week in each four segments. So our dirt track driver of the week, we talked about him when we talked about World of Outlaws. It's Brian Shirley. After losing in the photo finish on Friday night, dude turns around and in the late stages of the race on Saturday takes the lead, never looked back, and that earned him a spot as our dirt driver of the week. So yeah, I guess that all that being said, since we're kind of on the two lower tier, not lower tier necessarily, but you know what I mean, two
What a
lower tier
NASCAR fan.
segments. Let's move on to Asphalt All Stars. So I got to recap the races at Salem. So Salem had the CRA divisions there for the Midwest 250. I think it was a 100-lap pro late model race, 100-lap super late model race, and I think a street stock race was the 50-lap one. I have to look up some info on that for the 50-lapper. But the super race, Gio Ruggiero won. Only 9 cars showed up for a super race.
Wow, that's a low number.
Yeah.
Was there another event going on, or was this the only late
I
model race in the round?
I don't believe there were any other marquee super late model races going on. There was no Southern Super Series race. There was no National Tour race. This was, I thought, going to be the big super race for the week. But yeah, Gio Ruggiero was first. Jordan Riddick was second. Dalton Armstrong was third. Chase Berta fourth. Dakota Stroop fifth. Tony Elrod sixth. Rick Turner seventh. Caston Everidge was eighth. Logan Bearden was ninth. So 9 cars for a super field isn't
Not not a lot.
common at all. Um, I'm not sure what was going on. Why? Maybe some of the guys in the southeast were kind of taking a off week. I'm not sure, but I mean Wilson Motorsports and Geo. I think they're one of the bigger teams. They have the budget to travel. Maybe some of the teams with all the traveling they've been doing just needed to take a break. I'm not sure. Um, there was also, I'm not sure who won. I don't know the results, but there was a big modified race up in Michigan, and Augie Grill went up to run it, and they were having a paint scheme competition. And from what I saw, Augie was leading the fan vote by a pretty big margin last I checked, so he might have won that. But
Augie just wins everything, man. I love it.
That's
Augie
fine.
wins
Augie wins everything. That's cool.
Was there anything asphalt late model wise that y'all knew about?
Have
Uh,
y'all guys seen the Landon Huffman drama at Hickory?
Yep.
is this a
been
stint
a-
from the whole Larson situation?
We haven't had a
No.
show in a few weeks, so we haven't gone over that.
Yeah, that was kind of a big deal of just me watching the Cars tour.
Let's see here. Dominic, our man. Hopefully the Wenatchee Valley Super Oval 200 will turn into a marquee event. 20,000 wins a lot for the Northwest. I'm not familiar with a huge, the Northwest names. I mean, I know like Derek Thorne's from out west, a couple other guys, but I'm really not all familiar with that region. I mean, I'd love to, find out what those big events are out there and hopefully go to one. Probably the closest thing, and it's not close. I would like to go to a race at Alaska Raceway Park at some point.
I was about to say we should talk about that
Um,
because Reed sent me those pictures like what a week ago, and I
yeah,
was like, "That's it, we're going. We gotta get some content at this track. It is absolutely gorgeous."
Preston Peltier. Okay, heard that name. Seen him race at Five Flags a few times. But yeah, like that. You know, all three of us being in the Southeast, that's what we know, and I'm kind of familiar with some of the Midwest guys, but the further out west and the further towards like New England, I'm not really all that familiar with anybody.
We got Sebi.
Yeah, we got our man Sebi and Stafford up in New England, but I mean, not too familiar with anything else. And then same, we got our man Dominic out west, but I'm not sure a whole lot of other people out there. But
The Southeast scene we've got covered.
there's nothing. There is a an upcoming race this week at Nashville Fairgrounds. Modifieds of Mayhem, Pro Late Models, and a few other local divisions. If I would have known or paid more attention to the schedule, I should say, ahead of time, I'd love to be there for that. But
You know,
Nashville's kind of a once, maybe twice a year. Have to plan it out and
this one hurts for me to say this. My wife will be in Nashville this weekend. Well, my fiance. We don't get married until October, but she's doing her bachelorette party in Nashville, and I was telling her that there's a race and she should 100% go take care of some coverage for us. And she said she'd think about it, which obviously means no, but I tried. But I wouldn't want to be in Nashville this week, and there's all kinds of stuff going on. There's like country music festival and some
yeah.
the races. It's ungodly busy.
Have you
MLS.
seen that video of the NFL draft and the bride or the bachelor or can't think of the word.
Bachelorette.
Yeah, they all got mad that the NFL draft took over Nashville and they were complaining like
Mhm.
the NFL owes me my money back. I didn't know. I planned this before the NFL did. You
Yeah.
just if you ever been to Nashville, you know.
Nashville's wild.
So I guess wrapping up the asphalt short track segment. Our driver of the week for asphalt short tracks was the man we talked about earlier, Gio Ruggiero. Second week in a row, he's been short track driver of the week, coming off the photo finish he had with William Byron at Hickory. And we didn't have a stream last week because of Memorial Day to talk about it, but beat William Byron in a photo finish, turns around a week later to go out to Salem and win there, and the kid's 16 years old. I think that puts him up there to be driver of the week. And one final thing about asphalt late models, Fall Classic, Tri-City Raceway, RMEC is probably the race to hit. Half-mile tri-oval that feels like a mini road course.
I am. Where's Tri City at? I've heard of this place.
There's a couple different Tri-Cities.
Maybe.
But yeah, where's
Where's this Tri
that at?
City
You're
at,
welcome to hit
Dominic?
that place up.
I'd definitely love to attend some of
Next
those.
year, if I can save up some money and travel to races, I want to go to some races out west.
Yeah, I need to do that. I think I've hit every track in the Southeast this past year.
Yeah.
There's still some tracks here in the southeast I haven't been to yet, dude. I need to make it to Sayre. I need to make it to Huntsville. I need to make it to
Uh,
Fort Payne.
Buckshot's having 410 sprint cars, or no, the 360 sprint cars this weekend.
I wanted to go to Buckshot this past weekend. Um, I thought Casey might have been running there with the Southern Sportsman Modified series, but I think he was waiting on some more stuff to come in on the car. About 3 hours southwest of Seattle, Dominic says. So,
Okay. That would be one of those like do a layover flight wherever we're flying to, especially if we go to Alaska that one weekend.
yeah.
Actually, that'd be a week trip. I'm not doing that for a weekend. That's a week trip. That
I
would that
mean,
would absolutely suck for a week or weekend.
so I guess kind of moving on, I say let's move on to Formula Liberty.
Oh boy.
So for the Formula Liberty Detroit Grand Prix this past weekend. So Alex Palou got the pole, dominated the race, led like 79, I want to say, 79 laps, 70 something laps. Um, First race at a narrow street circuit, went about how you'd expect. Bunch of people wrecking out. Wasn't as chaotic as Nashville. They actually kind of had their stuff together, but definitely interesting first race.
So I will say, based on they race from Thursdays to Sunday. Okay. Um, I will say though, I don't think the coverage of that race was as good as it could have been because seeing some spectators videos online on TikTok, Facebook, Snapchat, all that, it looked way better through their perspective than the broadcast gave it.
I mean, a street circuit isn't going to look aesthetically pleasing most of the time, especially when it's like super narrow with concrete walls in Detroit. Nashville, you go across a bridge around a football stadium, right by an amphitheater. It looks more scenic than Detroit.
Yeah, I went to that first Nashville race, and it was like watching the Monaco race. It was fun on Saturday, a lively atmosphere, fast cars. But Sunday, I thought they were warming up all day. They were spaced out 1.1 seconds away. And come to find out, the same person that designed the Detroit track designed the Nashville track. So maybe they just need to find a new track designer because
Maybe
I just
like
wasn't a fan of
Herman
either
Tilke.
one.
Hey, we got
No,
something
that's
here.
even worse.
What? Herman Tilke? Don't we talk about my boy Hilmern? He designed AMP.
Yeah, he also designed every other cookie cutter.
Well, AMP's not a cookie cutter.
Yeah, it's the only beneficial track that he's ever made.
Hmm.
You can have Baku.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that one is a cookie cutter.
And Azerbaijan and all the other tracks in the Middle East, all designed by him.
I don't know. He did a really good job with AMP. That track's ridiculous.
I'm
So,
excited. I want to go there soon.
Yeah,
we're gonna be there.
Below won Detroit, and speaking of AMP, I'll let you handle this, Steve. Got to recap the action from another one of our partners, Atlanta Motorsports Park, and all they had going on. So take it away.
Oh boy, this was action-packed, hardcore racing. Some of the best racing I've seen at AMP in years. The largest field I've ever seen at AMP. Just for example, the LO206 Masters class had 30 drivers, which is unheard of. Speaking of LO206, the LO206 Master and the LO206 Senior class were 25, 30 deep. And AMP actually came out with a new division for this race series called Vintage Race Carts. And this is where you get carts from the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s running on this track. And they're all old flathead engines, no panels, no nothing. I mean, hardcore vintage kart racing. There's no aerodynamics into play whatsoever. You just hit the throttle and go. It's all about the best driver. And that series is actually a touring series. I didn't know that. But they are planning on partnering with AMP after this past weekend to bring their national series. This is just a local series to AMP. And that vintage race was amazing.
No comment on what Seth's saying. I'll let everybody read it for themselves. I'm not going to be opinionated, but I will, in the spirit of full disclosure, show his comments. No, we won't talk about hockey for 45 minutes. That's all I'm going to say. Was that
So glad.
was that everything from AMP?
Well, there was a little bit more action. We did have a video. Unfortunately, it didn't upload in time. There was chaos, and I do mean chaos. We had carts going 5, 6 wide coming out of turn 2. And if you're familiar with AMP's kart track, the turn 2 is a 4.5 story drop into a hairpin, 4.5 stories right back up. And it's probably about 4.5 carts wide. We had drivers going all in the dirt. And we ended up with some, in Layton's terms, some hellacious wrecks. I mean, it was wild. But
For anybody wondering, JP, his laptop died. He's on his way back in shortly, so he switched over to the two-person layout for now.
anyways, but yeah, just want to thank our sponsors over there at Atlanta Motorsports Park. Big Rig, if you're watching, big shout out to Will Rigdon, the media correspondent over there. He's been wonderful. I've worked with him for years. Looking forward to doing some bigger things at AMP and some other tracks that he helps out with. Dropping a few subtle hints right there.
While we're waiting on JP, because this next part of Formula Liberty is going to be about him, we'll go ahead and we'll announce, which some of you have paid attention to our social media, you already know who it is, the Open Wheel Driver of the Week. Surprise, surprise, the winner of the IndyCar race this past week, we went with Alex Palou. Dominant performance at Detroit, extended his points lead to 51 points over Ericsson. Palou's got to be the favorite for the championship this year. So
I agree with that.
And I believe this is the second time he's been on the Driver of the Week list.
Yeah, the week before, not the past time, but the week before, and now this week. I think.
Well,
maybe I can't remember.
Because it was New Garden last week. We'll go.
Yeah.
I don't know, but he was a previous Driver of the Week, I'm sure. I know he was because I had the image saved. I didn't have to make a new one. But he was Driver of the Week for Open Wheel, and I guess still while we're waiting on JP. Got some comments to show. Okay, I'm gonna explain why we don't talk about F1. IndyCar is, first of all, American. Second of all, has better racing.
Mm-hmm.
Third, much more entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
F1, if we wanted to have if F1 dictated the open wheel driver of the week, it would be Verstappen every week. What's the
I'm
fun
not picking Lewis Hamilton. I'm sorry.
What's
a lot of people know my personal opinion of Lewis Hamilton. I really don't like him.
Now that JP's back, let's switch back over to the three-person layout. So, JP,
I'm back.
We already talked about our driver of the week, but the last part about Formula Liberty is your Indy 500 review, since you were there in person. So why don't you walk us through everything?
I was really proud of the race. The only problem that I didn't like about it was the red flags. You know, you have the option in the race under yellow. Everybody knows that. And you don't have to go to a safety car whenever it's a red flag. Put them straight in there. You left Ericsson with the heat-soaked engine on cold tires. I'm not even a Chip Ganassi fan, but there's a lot of ways you could have officiated that race. But I was proud that they changed the aero package, which led to better racing. You're always going to have the dragon effect, the dragon weaving, but adding more rear wing and rear downforce to those cars really helped the race. With Palou spinning early, his team was able to go to 6 on the downforce when usually they're limited to 3. And, you know, he was able to drive through towards the end of the race, take off a lot of that rear downforce whenever he was in clean air. That led to a lot better racing, in my opinion. So it was a great race overall, minus Penske.
Yeah, all I'm going to say about that is, you know, your team owner also owns the track. Your driver's in a position to chase down the leader. You're coming to turn 4, coming to 2 to go under yellow, which is certain to end the race. And just before he gets to turn 4, you throw a red flag for an incident on the front stretch that wasn't as bad as the last 2-3 incidents that called for a red flag. No cars
a tire flying into the stands.
Yeah, no tires went flying in that last wreck, but you conveniently call a red flag. I mean, I'm a Penske fan. I like McLaughlin. I used to hate Newgarden, but I'm starting to warm up to him. But that was kind of sketchy. So
isn't Newgarden from Tennessee, if I remember correctly?
He's from Nashville,
Hendersonville, Tennessee, right outside Nashville.
The same town as Josh Berry.
Hey. So, JP, did you happen to get that tire flying into the stands? Reed's good with fire extinguishers, so maybe you're good with tires.
No, I was on the other side of the track. I was in turn 3, where Pato wrecked.
Too busy in the snake pit.
I smelled Pato wreck before I saw it because it came sideways right in front of me. if you ever go to the 500, definitely turn 3 is the place to be.
I mean, yeah.
And
3
I
and
will
4 is
say,
always the best place at any track.
I will say, the track president and Roger Penske are both awesome individuals for how they made up to that woman for the fact that her car got hit by a tire. Bought her a new car, let her kiss the bricks.
Toured the
So
whole facility. It was awesome.
that was cool to see. All that aside, though, I think it's time to move on to our final segment of the night. The segment where probably most of you were waiting for, the Monday Burnout. Talk about all the action from this past weekend. So we had Gateway, Worldwide Technology for Cup and Trucks, and Xfinity was at Portland. Grand Finger, Alabama boy, won the truck race, so I'm happy. Hocevar was up there. Corey Heim was out. Jesse Love was filling in for him, and then Tony Breidinger was filling in for the one. Jesse Love was up there towards the front. So just a pretty good truck race. Bunch of wrecks towards the end. Sanchez completely wiped out Deegan, which is sure to make somebody we know mad, but doesn't matter.
Yeah, speaking of that, Stephen Malazzi finished ahead of Deegan.
Our boy Malozzi, who we have been talking to a lot here recently. We love you. Come on the show.
And then got a little graphic to show here. Speaking of the truck winner, so your boy Grand Finger. For the Xfinity series, which ran immediately after the truck race, pretty much.
This was a fun one.
That was a wreck
This
fest.
one was a fun one.
So, yeah, St. Louis is a good track.
Yeah, I went there in 2019 for the IndyCar race, and that was IndyCars on a short oval is exciting to see.
There were some Johnny Benson's truck. Awesome. There was some weird infrastructure issues with the track with the
losing fiber optics.
Yeah, but we'll cover that when we talk to about the Cup race because that's when it happened. But moving on to Portland, Cole Custer won and got the graphic to pull up for that. I mean, as far as Cup driver Cole Custer, he was not great, but he went to Xfinity and he's been okay. Obviously okay enough to win. So, I mean, I'm not surprised that he won, but the only reason he did is because Parker Kligerman made bonehead move of the race and took Allgaier and Creed out of contention.
Can we make that a segment? Bonehead moves of the race. We need to do that.
LRR Bonehead of the Week.
Haley Deegan. No.
Drivers of the Week, Weapon of the Week, Bonehead of the Week. What else we need? Darf of the Week.
If you go to the right short track, it's all three are the same answer.
Yeah, probably.
Rolling Roadblock of the Week.
Yeah, Moving Chicane of the Week.
The Ryan Newman Award.
Best Wreck of the Week.
So, Cole Custer won Xfinity, and moving on.
Speaking of Cole Custer,
okay,
dude, my man Kyle Busch.
Graphic to switching it to Kyle Busch and see how long it take you guys to notice.
What's really sad is that if you look at the car, it was a number 3 car rewrap, which makes you concerned about Austin Dillon. Has he had that talk with Grandpa yet?
It's time.
Speaking of Austin Dillon, that little incident he had with Cindric, apparently there's SMT data that, from what people are saying, shows that Cindric did turn into Dillon, but at the same time, Dillon kind of came up, Cindric kind of came down. It was a racing deal. It wasn't as egregious as what Chase did last week.
So if we could go back for just 1 second to the Xfinity Series and talk about Joe Burton and Chandler Smith for a second.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Jed Burton said, and I quote, "I'm gonna break his effing nose." Like over the radio. He's like, I'm gonna beat the living shit out of him, is what he said over the radio. He gets out of the car, and Chandler Smith's social media team, bravo! That is the best video I think I've ever seen because the punches were like squeaky toys. You missed him entirely. I
Yeah.
mean, Chandler got good, better right hooks in than he did, and the social media team definitely did a good job with that.
Jed Burton's soft. I'm just gonna say it.
I mean,
He
I'm
is a
not saying
burden.
that out loud, but
He is a Burton.
oh, but yeah,
Um,
back to the Cup Series. That was something I just wanted to touch on.
so we kind of talked about Chase Elliott, what he did last week, and of course the suspension. And so LaJoy ran the 9 car, Hocevar ran the 7 car, filling in for LaJoy. And just think about what could have been for Hocevar had he not blown that brake rotor. I mean,
He
he was
was,
running top 20 in a
yeah,
Spire car.
which is very
And
unusual.
LaJoy was being LaJoy in a Hendrick car and
And 30th,
rounding out the field until the very end of the race. Which, I mean, I'll give him some credit. The 9 car hasn't been fast at all this year, it seems like. Besides Josh Berry taking a gamble at Richmond and getting second. But, like, LaJoy just, I don't know, dude. I, uh, I don't think after the one race hasn't proved much, but it's not looking good for him after what happened this weekend.
It's not like he hasn't driven a next gen car before either.
yeah. And this is my statement on it. I think that if he wants to be taken serious, he's gonna have to change something, whether it's his driving style or something. He's doing mediocre Inspire. He's given, well, I would say mediocre. He's giving it the best that he can give it. Inspire. I think that they're a very underfunded team, but they're doing all that they can. But for him to come out in top tier equipment and still run 30th, that says something. But
I think
at the
that,
same time, this is his first time in a top tier car, right?
yeah,
It
So I
would
mean,
surprise me
we
if it
can't
was.
judge it solely off of one time. We're gonna have to
Carson
give it some times.
Hocevar. If
It could
the
have
fact
just been
that
a rewrap
Carson-
7 car for all we know, man. That's how bad it looked.
The fact that Hocevar was running a Spire car, was running top 20, outperforming LaJoy, in his first ever Cup start, I think both shows the amount of talent Hocevar has that isn't being showcased by the Truck Series because the Truck Series is just wreckfest every week. I mean, look at his 2 Xfinity starts. He's had really good runs in Xfinity. In his first Cup race, he was doing good, considering, and then blew the brake rotor. But I think it shows both the talent Hocevar has and the fact that LaJoy's problems aren't because he's in a slow car. I think part of it is also the driver as well, and that kind of showed this past week. But that's just my take on it. I mean, people are still going to argue to the death that LaJoy, just give him one more shot, and he had that shot, and look what happened. So
Yeah, maybe
That's,
maybe take him to a super speedway car with like Hendrick or RCR or something. See what he can do.
yeah, which to be
But
fair, the 9 car finished 21st at Gateway last year, so it could just be something that team, doesn't have dialed into that track too. But moving on from all this talk, the last thing before we unveil our driver of the week for NASCAR is just general predictions preview for Sonoma. I think Cindric's going to be up there. He finished 5th there last season. Who y'all got? Who you think
Is it too early for a Kyle Busch repeat?
He will be in the McLaren Grills car, and last time he was in that car,
he won.
look what happened.
Well, I mean,
That
take
was
it back.
Kansas, right?
McLaren's on a road course are never good.
That's true.
McLaren's on an oval. They'll wreck at the end of the race, but
So
But, who y'all think's going to be up there?
I'm thinking our amigo
Daniel?
Danny Suarez. Danny Suarez is a threat at Sonoma. He's always been a threat at Sonoma. Look at last year; he won. I mean, he's past what 3 years. He's been a top 10 contender the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
He's not just
Especially with Justin Marks at Trackhouse. That's
Mm,
a road course ringer as your owner, as your coach.
exactly.
I mean, my case for Kyle Busch is obviously the paint scheme. I mean, it's got to have some kind of karma, some jinx magic with it. But also, he finished second at Coda. He's got a good road course car. He's got RCR as a pretty good road course program. And Alex Bowman, he did good at Coda. Ross Chastain was up there. Tyler Reddick won Coda, so he'd probably be up there contending for the win at Sonoma too.
Yeah.
But if I had to bet on one of them, I'd probably, I don't know, probably Reddick or Bush.
I'm also
Yep.
going to throw in another one there. How about we throw in Ty Gibbs? He's always been good at road courses.
Yeah, he finished ninth at Coda, as a matter of fact. So he got a top 10 there. Yeah.
Larson, home track. That's another. He's a good road course guy.
So just kind of just our general prediction for Sonoma. Y'all have anything else about Sonoma to talk about?
Nothing on that topic.
Because if not, I say our last talking point of the night, NASCAR Driver of the Week. It's got to be Kyle Busch.
It has to be.
Has to be. I mean, but yeah, another good point about Sonoma. While Dominic's reminding us about it, Gregson's been good there in the lower tier series. Legacy MC can put together a solid car for once. I think Noah could be up there.
I think they put all their funding into Jimmy Johnson's departure to Toyota.
I wish they
Yeah,
ran the Sonoma race in rain season because they have rain tires now, and it'd be a lot better looking than all the dead grass.
Yeah.
'Cause it looks beautiful there in the wet season. All the green grass everywhere.
Another track that I'd love to see NASCAR go to is Laguna Seca because I just want to see how they're going to handle the corkscrew.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be
Imagine Ross Chastain using it like a jump.
But
Yeah,
Melon, what would that be?
back on topic to the last talking point we had. Kyle Busch, Driver of the Week, third win of the year. RCR and Kyle Busch are a dangerous combination from here on out, and he proved that again this week. Why wouldn't he be Driver of the Week? So, and with that being said, unless y'all have any final plugs, anything to talk about,
My final
that's all
thing
we
on
have
that.
listed.
My final thing on that is I don't think it was Kyle Busch needed Joe Gibbs. I think Joe Gibbs needed Kyle Busch.
Absolutely.
Denny's not doing it for him.
No. Denny's too worried about his own team.
Denny being selfish? What?
No way, dude. But yeah, that's I think that's all we got. And that being said, thanks for tuning in. We had a good turnout tonight. Unfortunately, things with Judson didn't work out with the technical difficulties, but hopefully we can have him back on, test something out one night, see if we can get those bugs figured out. So I guess we'll see you next week. Not sure who we'll have on, if we'll have anybody on, but keep an eye out on our social media to find out.
And
So, yeah.
again, guys, don't forget, follow our social medias. It's Liberty Racing Review on just about every platform, I believe.
Yep. Or just go to check out the link that's been going across our screen the whole night. LibertyRacingReview.com. It has links to everything there.
Yep.
Ways to contact us, links to all our socials, anything you need's there.
About us, where our background, all that fun stuff.
So, with all that being said, thanks for watching, and y'all have a good night.